Hey there, everybody. Been a while. Apologies for the no beard jump scare. I had an unfortunate barber situation. It's a shame though, because I think they did a great job with my hair. And maybe it's not a shame because now I actually look like the age I am, which is 26. But yeah, so yeah, that's it's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, yeah. No, like now I don't look like I'm in my 30s, early 40s. Yeah, which is a nice change of pace. But yeah, so for the most part, though, like this isn't going to be necessarily like a full hour stream. This is just, a mix of me doing my obligation, also showing some cool stuff. Not like the craziest stuff, but what, just being transparent about what I'm working on. Probably the coolest thing is I shared a little bit of this, but yeah, yeah, Detroit Become Human. You know, they, I I'll be honest, I don't know for a fact that I'm not a robot. So, yeah, it would certainly explain my sleep schedule. Uh, the, but yeah, so no, this is probably the coolest thing so far. It's just being able to get sort of flung as a rag doll and then have it just kind of get you right back up. I'm gonna make it a little bit look a little bit less weird with some animations, I think. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on here. I also have been doing some work on animation. But don't get your hopes up because I'm still not a really good animator. But like, look at this. Isn't that cool? Yeah, it's not just popping up. It's like kind of doing it over a few frames. Yeah. And so the hope is that like, if you hit a wall while ragdolling, it like leaves a crater in it and then you sink out, like that's the long-term vision. But yeah, so that's kind of, yeah, so it's not even an animation. It's solved dynamically in the moment. Like it's actually just taking your pose and then kind of interpolates it to whatever the animation it's aiming for. But yeah, so let's actually get a hold of some of that. Okay, so we have. Okay, so here's the sword. It's going okay. I'm still trying to learn animation stuff, but I think this sword slash is pretty nice. Like it's not the best in the world. I get it. Like especially, like I still have things to work through. Ignore that error. I was mid refactor. But I like it, and also the ragdoll works with it. Yeah, it's never gonna get old. But yeah, so I think it has like a good degree of like I guess violence. Is that the right word for it? I mean, it is. You are swinging a sword, so I guess that makes sense. Yeah, it's fun. It's funny. I think you get kind of desensitized. Like you get so used to making video game weapons, you sit back and think, oh yeah, wait, I guess swinging a sword is violence. Huh, who would have thought? You know. But yeah. Mhm. So yeah, that's essentially all we got going right here. It's mostly just me trying to. I've been doing a lot of back end stuff, but nothing all that fancy. Yeah, I'm just, but what I'm gonna be working on this week, I'll, beyond like my day job, of course. Like that's part of the reason the progress is slower. It's because, I actually have a job that's not this now, and I really like it. It's a really good job. I'm very happy there. But it does mean slower progress. But I also am learning a lot from it. Like, it's a bunch of very talented developers, and so getting to see how they work and getting to see their like design instincts on stuff, I think it's going to make me into a better developer. It's just, you know, means there's some growing pains along the way with learning how to do things like animations. But yeah, like like that's pretty much it. Like this is, like it does seem like it's not a whole bunch to show off. So, if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer questions. But, if this is just, what does the flip do? Oh, yeah, let me show you. Yeah, so the flip thing is, it was me experimenting with these different effects. Namely, this one flips you. Um, yeah, Yeah, the actual code for it is quite nice. The If we look at this, yeah, so we have so here's the actual code for flipping it. Let's see, where is that? So it's under map, power lab, source, client. Okay, yeah, so this is how easy it is to make a character flip now. I just have to run this code. It's very nice. Yeah, so yeah, so definitely yeah, like that's why I've been building out a lot of just these kind of effect systems to allow me to really easily connect all this stuff. Like for example, the ragdoll launcher. It's literally just this again. Just I define the ragdoll, I define the launch, and yeah, like it plays it all out and cleans itself up, and it's quite nice. So you know, so now I can let's see if I can get myself to flip into the ragdoll thing. uh, that's great. But yeah, so eventually we're going to be hooking up like that stuff. Like the dream is that when I hit like someone with this sword, if I have like enough super strength, it'll like launch them ragdoll style, depending on like how strong I am. Like obviously if someone else is strong and like blocks the shield, they shouldn't go ragdolling. They should just be knocked back a bit. But if they're just a random henchman and you like if someone like this and you hit them with the sword, and they should go flying into the next map, But yeah, like that's pretty much it. Like obviously this isn't necessarily going to be the like you can see that I'm definitely building towards something, but at the end of the day, this is definitely probably only another it's like since y'all last saw it, it's probably only been another 30 hours or so of work on it, which, it is still a decent amount when it's not your full-time job, but still like the, I've been putting a lot of work into polishing up the workflow and just trying to get all of that working. I really do like the ragdoll stuff though. I can't stress this enough. It's so fun. It's so fun. So I think y'all will like that. I think it'll lead to some fun combat. But yeah, let's see. So I am open to the idea of like more like telekinetic or like gravity type powers. The question is how do we make it not like unbeatable? It's not so much a how do I make it work, it's how do I make it not work so well that everyone else is immediately killed, you know? And so that's the harder thing to figure out for the most part. Uh, I think definitely probably the easiest one would just be to have like the bigger the object is, the less amount of time you can hold it, you know? Well, yeah, blocking is good when it's not like gravity. Like how do you block gravity? That's a tougher one to figure out. How do you block like psychic force? Um, yeah, like the only things I could imagine that would block that would be so specialized that like, it would almost become a waste of a power slot. Like you would have to use a power slot just to make sure this other specific power didn't mess you up, which seems like a less than ideal way to, have people customize. So, I'm not necessarily opposed to telekinesis, but it is not my primary goal, you know? Yeah, like, I think that in many ways, probably the easier thing is just to make it so that when you have a telekinetic power, the best way you fight someone is actually to pick up something nearby and throw it at them rather than trying to pick them up yourself, you know? Like maybe we can have that just be something that takes more energy, but like you can pick up a car and throw it, like that should be something which, we can have some like nonsense answer like, oh yeah, picking up a human soul is so much harder psychically, it's just like, we can think of something. But yeah, for the most part, like, let's see. But yeah, let's see. I'm gonna try to do that 1-1-2 combo again. So good, so good. Yeah, actually picking. I think picking up an NPC and throwing it at someone would be very funny. And that's part of it. Like I'm actually I'm going to be putting a lot more effort into like making specialized attacks. Like this may not look like it. Guess how long this stupid animation took me? Now, admittedly, a lot of the effort was just figuring out how to do animations in Blender and how to export them into Roblox. But I swear, like this animation took like 8 hours. I had to remake it a bunch of times because I kept messing stuff up. It was a learning curve, but I do think I kind of have it figured out now. Hey, you were close time traveling seal. I guess you went into the future and heard me say what it was. The But yeah, like yeah, no, I hate animations too. Like I now that it's this part's done, I kind of like it, but I also don't. Like I don't like how the arm kind of sinks down, like when it's used. I don't like that. But at the same time, like it's close enough, you know. It's, yeah, I don't know. This is gonna be the one that tortures me. I think I've come a long way since Superhero Life 2 compared to how the sword slashing in Superhero Life 2 looks. That was the last time that I did animations to my memory. So, you know, come a long way, but obviously I'm not going to be able to quit my day job and become an animator anytime soon. Yeah, my sister actually dates an animator, so maybe I can ask him. Wait, is he 2D or 3D? I mean, I guess can't hurt to ask. Yeah, the Superhero Life 2 animations were not was not the highest caliber. Uh, you know, so I am open to I do like the idea of having like weaknesses, like kind of like with Superman, they have like weakness to kryptonite and magic and stuff. Like I do like that idea. However, I think that I want to engage with it more on a like if you have a weakness, as much as like the kryptonite thing is iconic. I don't want to have such singular usage weaknesses, you know? Like I don't want you to be able to get unlock a perk to your character in trading in a weakness which never comes up, you know? Like let's say that you had a weakness to sand. All you had to do was avoid beaches, like the one beach that's currently in the map, and then you can essentially get a free power up, you know? And like it's not like it doesn't limit you enough. And I feel like that'd be the same with telekinesis. Like if you make your limit just a single power, which is used by maybe a little bit of the server, I'm not sure that's the best way to balance the game. I think it should be something more broad, like you can have vulnerability to fire, like just like which could be flamethrowers, that could be actual like fire magic, that could be even like electricity setting things on fire. Like it opens you up to a few different angles, Like I want it to be something you have to actually makes you weaker on a regular basis, not just like every once in a while. So yeah. Yeah, no, but I do like the weakness system in concept, and I don't know if I'd want to even limit it to two. Like, if you want to take on every weakness, that'd be kind of interesting, Like, if I can make that possible, I want to make that possible. But yeah, so that's the current strategy. But yeah, like for the most part, like it's not too much there's not too much to talk about this week. Unfortunately, that's part of the reason why I'm not streaming as frequently because like progress is just slower. We have, I think last time I was able to flip. This time I'm able to ragdoll and swing a sword, which, it's not nothing, but, you know, hold your pre-orders. It's like, yeah, yeah. The biggest update this week is me being beardless, and that traumatized the community. Um, Kind of just a fan, not necessarily in the sense that like you were expected to appear on time. I'm happy when anyone stops by, but more like I'm kind of running out of things to talk about, so I'm probably gonna wrap it up in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Like yeah, yeah, a barber shop accident. Yeah, I hate saying it though because I really do like my barber and like they do a great job most of the time. They mess up the lines. I don't know how it happened honestly. But so like I don't. It's not supposed to be like a diss against them, but that is what happened. So like that, like one side of my beard was just a little bit too low, and by that point it already cut to like about as low as you could get, and without it looking weird. So I was like, I'm just gonna start from scratch. And honestly, like for real, I can regrow my beard in like 2 weeks. Like it may not look like okay. Notice how I already have like that 5 o'clock shadow. I was clean shaven like a day ago. Like this didn't exist a day ago. I'm already getting that not Han Solo, Indiana Jones stubble. So by the time that I have the next one of these, I'll probably be bearded as normal. But yeah, you know, let this be just a little jump scare for now. But yeah, like I don't know. There's not too much to talk about. So yeah, just okay. Let's do. How about this? We're gonna do one more flip through the ragdoll thing, and then we'll call it there. Does that sound good? Does anyone have any final questions before we pack up the stream for this week in our most exciting stream yet? Let's see. Yeah, current goal is like next time I should hopefully have like some NPCs to like knock over with the sword, so that should be a bit more fun. But you know, for the most part, that's what this season is going to be. It's going to be me messing with the powers and sort of building them up. Especially because Roblox actually broke the character editor. You know how it used a bunch of editable images? They changed a bunch of stuff about that, and so that's going to take like a week to fix. But because they keep changing it, I'm like I'm just going to fix it once that's settled in. Like I'm just going to ignore that for a bit. So we're going to go all in on the powers and fix that later. Um, well, no, I do think that you should be able to gain stuff squid stick. Like I think that people should be incentivized to take on weaknesses. Like because if you let's say you're playing to be stronger than other characters, obviously in a purely role play sense people will take on weaknesses just for the story, but in a sense where you're trying to actually fight other people, if you take any degree of enjoyment in fighting other people, you want to have some balancing out effect. And so I do think that let's say getting you an extra upgrade point or something for every weakness you take on, I think that's interesting. So yeah, I think that it encourages more interesting progression. But like you don't have to spend the upgrade point. You could just choose to not be stronger. That's okay. Like not gonna force you to. Um, yeah, well, like that's the thing. Like I think that like that's the kind of things that the weaknesses should work for. Like you can increase a specific power that you have but you're more weak to another one. Like that kind of water fire thing is a great example. Like that would be one. Another one would be like you're more resilient to like bullets and stuff, but you're slower and heavier. Like just like the kind of trade offs that would make sense. Like and so ideally, like everything would feel like an interesting decision. You know that Sid Meier quote, like a game is a series of interesting choices. This is game. This is game right here. We are trying to give you some interesting choices. This is the ultimate would you rather gameplay. Like you now have the ability to shoot lightning out of your hands, but also whenever there's a thunderstorm, you immediately get electrocuted and die. Like like just have some interesting decisions. But yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there for even just like good ideas. Like don't get me wrong, y'all have good ideas. It's just I've been making superhero life games for almost a decade now, and I've heard most of them by now. And I feel like having like weaknesses as a mechanic, that's a lot of fertile ground for some new community ideas. Some cool decisions. Uh, well, I feel like Justifan. I feel like that name combo is a little bit more of like those are two different purposes you're going for there. You should have a short name which people say, you know, kind of off the tongue. Like you should have the Voldemort and the He Who Must Not Be Named. Like you should have the full title for when you want to freak people out and do the introduction, and you should have the title which they actually use. Because if you have something too long and they have to use it all the time, that's going to take up some. It's going to take up too much oxygen in the room. But yeah, yeah, no, I mean, by all means, Squid Stick, like you can use it for role play. I just want to make sure that any mechanic I add, I want to have it contribute to the game in more than just one way, ideally. Hey there, bad dude. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, it's which car is better, Nissan Skyline or Porsche 912 GT3? I don't actually know either of those. Well, I know the brands, but I don't know. Okay, so Nissan Skyline. Okay, so that's the Nissan Skyline. I'm guessing we're talking about like the newer ones because it looks like an older car. Porsche 912 GT3. Um, I mean, the Porsche clearly looks cooler, I think. Well, the problem is there's a lot of Skylines out there. Honestly, the Skyline looks old. It almost looks like a car from like the 90s or the 80s or something. Thank you, Bat Dude. I appreciate it. Let's see. I guess if we're assuming the GTR Skyline, I think I prefer the Skyline GTR, just because it's cool, but it doesn't look like it's trying as hard, Like the Porsche looks like something you'd have in like a video game. Like it's a very cool car, but I don't want to be cool that often. Like I feel like if I drove a GTR Nissan Skyline, like I could be in a t-shirt and like, uh, sweatpants and not look like a total dork in it. Like in order to be in the Porsche, I feel like I had to have like a button up and like a suit jacket at all times. I feel like I couldn't look like a slob. But yeah, so let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know. hmm Yeah, like I guess I think that's about all for today, unless anyone has any final questions. I promise I'll have cooler stuff next time. I really do. It's just takes time, and time is something which is takes it's hard to find time. Life is so busy, but it's not a bad life. It's just a busy one. More life to live. Yeah. But yeah, there's like there's something weird about this torso. Like I don't like how he's like kind of like bouncing. I don't know. Oh yeah, no, we're gonna. Honestly, parkour is something I've been thinking about. I just don't know when to add it. Like I feel like I want to get the powers done and then kind of layer in parkour, but not like all the powers, just like one or two of them. Like I feel like once I have the sword power really built out, we'll have some. Then like we'll be able to get a feel of like, okay, you want to dodge. Honestly, I might build out some NPCs just to fight and just like get a feel for these kind of attacks. But yeah, yeah, I think. But yeah, no, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate y'all, being patient. I know this game has taken so long. Yeah, but yeah, I think it'll be worth it. I think that probably by this December, we'll probably have the powers, some of the powers at least testable. You'll be able to enter probably this map right here and then try them out. And yeah, and the rest of the game we'll just kind of build on top of that. We're gonna get something playable for y'all. Okay, I promise. Yeah. But anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope y'all have a good week. All right, peace.